Hello again. Welcome to the truth about gang stalking. This video is about cooperation and government participation in gang stalking. There has been lots of rumors that the government is involved in gang stalking, and they kind of are. The F.b.i. has done their own gang stalking of several individuals and political dissidents. Even Martin Luther King was gang stalked by the F.b.i., and there's evidence of this, plenty of evidence. But for the most part, these are private enterprises that are not government affiliated at all, because if somebody was to ever connect gang stalking to a government agency, there would be hell to pay. There would be rioting in the streets, you would think, and it would just be just a black face on that agency forever. And my gang stalkers are not government affiliated, but that's not to say there's no government affiliated gang stalkers. These guys have set me up, made me pass out on occasions where I've gotten into accidents. Just out of the blue, I have no medical history of indications for why I was passing out. I've been hospitalized for passing out. Just because it's fun to these guys to put somebody in a downward spiral forever and ever and ever until they're dead, so they can cash in on these people's lives and their insurance policies that they take out with these crooked insurance agents. They have put me in bad situations with other people, even when I was younger, before they started talking to me, and I was not acting like myself, and not aware of what I was saying or doing, and or how I was behaving. And other people have told me these, like how I was acting, and I don't even remember it. So these guys want to put you in all types of bad situations, so you're hopefully killed by other people, so they can laugh about it and pretend it's funny, and so they can cash in on your insurance policy they have had for a long time. But this one other thing about these government stalking, cooperation, and involvement is it's possibly some governments are involved just by the evidence of the attacks on American and Canadian diplomats in 2018 in Havana, Cuba. Many of those diplomats stationed, I think the U.S. and Canada, both shut their embassies down in Cuba and brought everyone back home because they're reporting permanent injuries and very similar symptoms to gang stalking attacks, and have suffered permanent and debilitating injuries where they cannot return to work. So these crimes are becoming more and more common and more mainstream. And I have no doubt people or police and investigators will find out more about these agencies and these people who do this and investigate them, and hopefully a lot of these people will be prosecuted. But it's hard to prosecute somebody who's miles and miles away from you, attacking you, and it's hard to prove who these people are and how they did it unless you have really sophisticated technology, and the people who are investigating have knowledge about how this technology works, which most people don't. It's microwave and ultrasound based, with a lot of it based on electromagnetivity, and it's really hard to investigate because there's changing electric fields around you all the time, depending on where you are, and these guys take advantage of that. So that's just a short video I had on the cooperation and government gang stalking. A lot of people, the psychiatrists I've had, the police officers I've had contact with, like I said, they just don't know about these technologies, most of them. Some of them do. And even when I was diagnosed by my psychiatrist as being a paranoid schizophrenic, she didn't totally believe it because I was 35 when I first started showing symptoms, quote unquote. And most people who are paranoid schizophrenics show symptoms in their early teens. And I didn't have some of the classic symptoms of a paranoid schizophrenic, but I did have a couple of them. So she just went ahead and diagnosed me. She wanted to reverse the diagnosis a couple years later. And when I was diagnosed, when she gave me that diagnosis, the voices that had been talking to me were celebrating. They were clapping and going, yeah, yeah. Like they had gained some big award or something. And they really, I mean, these guys are just over the top stupid. Because this same woman undid the diagnosis a couple years later and said, you're not paranoid schizophrenic. So these guys really are dumb. And like I said, you know, because I reported that people were following me, and I was hearing voices, and that's classic paranoid schizophrenia. But what they don't understand is this also can be done with ultrasound, microwave technology, and electromagnets, electromagnetivity that's around your body at all times. And because these doctors, police officers, and other people don't understand it, doesn't mean they're involved at all. It just means they're not educated in it. So that's one thing you can do, is educate them and educate yourself about how these items work. And that's something I've done. Looked into ultrasound in depth, microwave technology in depth, radar in depth, and electromagnetivity, electricity. And you need to understand these topics yourself before you can describe them to somebody else. But that's it for this video, and I just have a couple more videos that I was thinking about putting up, so thank you for staying tuned. I'll talk to you again.